This is the DEWALT 18 gauge brad nailer. It's the DCN680N version. It's a second fix 18 volt brushless brad nailer, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it already. I've used it quite a few times and I've had it in my basket for a long time, and I finally took the plunge and got it. Before I purchased this, I had been using my Makita brad nailer, but I've been having to use the air compressor with it, and it's a bit of a pain because everywhere I take the brad nailer, I've got to take the air compressor as well, and there's cables and what have you everywhere. So they are now going to stay in the workshop, and this little beauty stays in the van. So let's check this out right now. Now, with a 4 or 5 amp battery on here, it does feel nicely balanced. The unit itself without the battery, and I did buy this on its own, bare unit, no battery, no charger, does weigh 2.5 kilos. So with the battery as well, it's not a light thing, but it certainly does pack a punch. So you've got 2 LEDs right here, which do come on and illuminate the work surface if it is dark. So that's really good. It's always good to have a bit of light there. You've got a lock and release button here. So when the lock is on, you cannot depress the trigger. Only when you unlock it, of course, you can then press it. Right here, you've got the brad nail depth wheel, if you like. You can just turn this and it will make the brad nail sink deeper or not so deep. In case of jams, it's always a good idea to put the lock button on here, take your brads out, and then you can easily just open the front of the unit up here. And there's also another switch right here which helps to release any jams. And if you've used one of these before, if you get a jam, best thing to do, get yourself a pair of pliers and just pull out the rogue brad and then we can just pop that back, and then that locks up really quick and easy. On the end of the brad nailer is what I would call a nib, and there's 2 spare ones here for storage. And actually these are called Nomar pads. There you go. Never knew that. Nomar pad on the gun already, and then 2 spare ones right here. Load in the brad nailer, push the lever, open up the cartridge, in go the brads. These are 50mm brads. You can do 15 to 54mm, so that really does give you a wide range. This yellow tab here indicates low staples, and when they get low, it will stop working. So it's a good indicator that you need to reload. It's also got a handy measure on the side of the cartridge, so if you're needing to do spacings of up to 7 inches, you've got a nice handy rule on there. That's really cool. Right, let's give it a go. I'm going to load the brad nailer up with some 35mm brads like so. Now before we start, we've got 2 settings on this. We've got sequential and bump action. I'm going to show you the difference between the 2 right now. So we'll put it on sequential, which is indicated by 1 brad, and that basically means you can only do 1 nail at a time, just like this. And basically the motor starts and stops every time you push this down and fire the trigger. So you're only ever going to be able to do 1 brad at a time like that. If we put it over to the bump action, it means we can do a lot more, a lot quicker. And you can see every time we push the brad nailer down, it fires. We keep our finger on the trigger and you fire away until your heart's content. Okay, so I've got myself a piece of oak here. It's a lovely piece of oak, really hard wood, and that's got to be about 16mm thick, something like that. And we're going to see how well it drives a brad nail through this and into this bit of CLS. Now I'm going to put the nail gun onto the sequential setting, so it does tend to have a little bit more power when it's on that single firing setting. And in terms of the depth, we are maximum depth. Okay, so I've pushed that all the way down, the indicator's gone up, so it's showing that it's maximum depth. So let's see how well that drives through this hardwood. Wow, that really has gone in quite far there. You can see that's at least 2 millimeters deep, maybe 2.5 millimeters. That really has sunk in, which is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, that's really pulled on tight there. Let's take that to the opposite setting, so it's minimum depth, and just see the difference. Well, that is completely obvious because those brads, they are sticking out. So you really have got a fair amount of adjustment there. 2.5 mil deep into oak and sitting just above the surface there. So there we go. It's the DEWALT DCN680N 18 volt XR brushless 18 gauge brad nailer. Fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next video.